All right, so this is a quick demonstration of the PowerShell pipeline. So in a nutshell, the PowerShell pipeline is all about passing objects from one command to the other. More specifically, it's about passing all kinds of different objects that various commands output to the input of another. So let me show you a good example of the PowerShell pipeline in action. So first off, I'm going to use an example of stopping a service. For the first example here, I'm going to just not use the pipeline to show you the difference between what it looks like without and what it looks like with, because technically you can do everything in PowerShell without using the pipeline at all, but the pipeline really gives you a lot of shortcuts and some advantages to using it. So this is how you would stop a service without using a pipeline. So I'm going to choose the WUAU SERV service. So I will just use stop service here, and then I would just run this, and it would stop the service. Same thing with removing a file. I would just run remove item, specify the path into the file here. So I'm not going to actually remove it now because I want to show you how to use the pipeline, how to do that in a second. So really that's all it is without using a pipeline. I have a command, then I have a parameter that I input to that command. So just think of the parameter here, so in this case WUAU SERV, as the input to this command. So now I use the pipeline to do the same thing. To use the pipeline, I use a get command. So it could be a get command, it could be any name, but it's just a function or a command that actually grabs whatever kind of object that you want to manipulate. So in this case, I'm just going to run get service. So get service past WAU SERV will just gives me the service object back. If I want to stop that, instead of actually using stop service dash name and the name of the service, I can just pipe this, which is called piping, to stop service. And you'll notice that I'm using the pipeline here by the fact that I'm using this pipe symbol. This means pipe the output of this to the input of this command, so stop service. So when I highlight this and run it, that will do the exact same thing. That will get the service this time, get an entire object back, and then stop it. The same thing with here. I will just get the file, pipe it directly to remove item, and then it would remove it. It's that same kind of concept, grabbing some kind of object and then piping it with the pipe symbol here to some other kind of object to remove the item, stop it, manipulate the object in some way. So let's go through a couple more advanced scenarios here. So in this case, let's say that I have a service, the WAU SERV, and I want to stop it, but then I want to get that service back. So you notice by default, whenever I run stop service, it just doesn't return anything here to the console whatsoever. So, but maybe I want to see the status of that service after I'm done. As part of the pipeline, a lot of different commands, commandlets in PowerShell have a pass-through parameter here that you can provide. Stop service is one. Pass-through says instead of just returning nothing at all to the pipeline, actually pass the object that it was originally got to the pipeline. Once it's passed to the pipeline here, we can do something to it. So let's grab the service again, and now notice when I run get service dash pass through, it actually gives me that service back, and this time it's stopped. Now, because it was passed to the pipeline, I can then run something like format table auto size, and notice how it changed the format a little bit. So it allows me to get the service, get the service that it starts with, pass that with pipe directly to stop service. It will stop it. Because I'm using the pass-through parameter, it will pass that service object back out again with another pipe, and then to format table in this case. It could be anything. And this is all about chaining commands together. You can use a pipeline as many elements here as you want. And then finally, another example, here's another one, removing all back files in a folder. In this case, you're just getting the files, get child item, and filtering on star.back, and then piping those to remove item. It's not just one item. It can run, the pipeline processes as many objects as possible. So if get child item returns 1, 10, 100, or 5,000 files that match this filter, it will go ahead and remove them all. That was a brief explanation of the PowerShell pipeline.